not only are we required as a producer to report the volume to the state of Oregon, as an example, where we produce private label, our customers are asking us for the same information. And so that's where having good data practices, organized, following the standards, will help meet those deadlines. And that's where efficiency becomes important, because you have to do this once a year, but then you have however many of your customers also asking you for the same information.
Hello and welcome to the Next Level Supply Chain with GS1 US, a podcast in which we explore the mind-bending world of global supply chains, covering topics such as automation, innovation, unique identity, and more. I'm your co-host, Reid.
And I'm Liz.
And welcome to the show.
We just had an amazing conversation with Lindsay Savage from Georgia-Pacific.
It was really good.
Anytime I have a question about EPR, which is Extended Producer Responsibility, I call her.
Yeah, I had no idea until a couple of weeks ago, actually, when I started researching this, that it's every state.
Well, it's, I think, 5 or 7 states, but they're coming.
That's right. It's state-driven regulation.
Yep,
so every state theoretically should have it in a few years, but right now we're at 7.
Yes.
I learned.
7, and each one of them have a different flavor for what they're going to be requiring.
Of course.
And so companies like Georgia-Pacific have to figure out how to deal with all of those different idiosyncrasies and nuances between the states.
I found it amazing when we talked a little bit about you ship it into the state directly from them, but if they drive it across the line and deliver it to somebody else, they need to know, or if they, white label this stuff and do it for someone else, they have to do it for them as well. It's a lot.
It's a lot. And it's not even just their products. It's the packaging and the shrink wrap that could potentially be on a pallet. I mean, it's things that just haven't been accounted for before. So it's a big lift.
It was
a great conversation.
Lindsay, thank you so much for joining us today.
Happy to be here.
As we always say.
Very
excited.
Very excited.
No, but for our audience, if you wouldn't mind, just give us a little background on yourself and the position you're at and kind of how you got there.
Absolutely. So, Lindsay Savage, I work at Georgia-Pacific, which is based out of Atlanta, Georgia. I've been there 17 years, believe it or not. I've been in a variety of different roles, from internal audit, pricing, programs, to the role I'm in today, which is leading our data governance and business platform team for the consumer products division of Georgia-Pacific.
Data governance.
Yeah, tie in with GS1.
Oh, yes. Love it. Love it.
Love data. Love the governance of it. Data quality. Could talk about this forever. However, today we want to get into a new topic, and it's not really new, but it's new to us that we've been hearing about EPR. Can you tell us what EPR stands for and how it impacts Georgia-Pacific and the industry? Because we hear that it's happening fast and furious, and it's impacting a lot of different organizations.
Yes. So EPR, which stands for Extended Producer Responsibility, is environmental policy that is done at the state level, and it's really designed to kind of push the responsibility of the full end-to-end life cycle of products, specifically focusing on recyclability and kind of the end life cycle part of products. So for a brand owner like Georgia-Pacific, we produce several disposable paper towel, tissue, napkin products, as well as food serviceware product. We are going to be required to report to the states that have this legislation the amount of quote unquote covered products, which I can get into that in a minute, for a fiscal year. So for the state of Oregon, which happens to be the first state that is ready to execute this, we had to report early this year the number of tons of certain covered products that were sold into that state.
Okay.
And that state only.
That state only. So at the end of last year, there were 5 states that had passed these EPR laws. And you talk about how fast this is moving. It is now up to 7 states. So 2 additional states passed these EPR laws, and there are many more states that are currently talking about passing similar type laws. So it is moving fast.
And I'm assuming they're not doing it the same way, or are these states doing their regulations in a different way?
Correct. That would make it too easy.
Right.
Right. So you are correct. One of the complexities of EPR is that because it's at the state level, they have the ability to kind of design the legislation for how they want it. And so what we're seeing, just even between the first two states of Oregon and Colorado, is how they are defining the products that are covered will vary. So, for example, in Oregon, it typically is around the brand owner, and that is your area of responsibility if you are the brand owner. There is an exception with Oregon that if product actually moves into Oregon from an outside state and it's a private label brand, us as a manufacturer kind of producing that private label product is still responsible for the packaging. Whereas Colorado, you are only really responsible for the brand you own. So not private label if you manufacture
Understood.
private label.
Yeah. How do you see this evolving? Is there a data governance like syntax that everyone's using, or is it, yeah, we have all of this, but some are only asking for 4 out of 5 items? Like,
Right. I think for organizations, we already have to maintain so much data about our products because our customers and consumers want to know more.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's no longer let's make a product, let's sell it, thank you.
Yeah.
It's let's make a product, let's document the heck out of it, and let's keep it for 7+ years and more. And then a new state asks for different information.
And it's not just the product. It's the product. It's the packaging
of the
label,
product.
It's
Yeah.
the shrink wrap around a pallet.
Correct.
It's
Yeah.
all the different pieces and parts.
Right.
Correct. So it's going to require organizations to capture even more data than they're already doing today. For Georgia-Pacific, as part of our commercialization process, luckily we've started to already capture some of these things. But to bring it to life, let's take a pallet of disposable cup and lids. You go to a club store, right? You buy a big bag, a poly bag of 250 cup lid combos. So we ship, say, 50 cases on a pallet. Each case is in a corrugated box. Within a corrugated box, you have 4 poly bags.
Wow.
Within each bag, you have 250 cups, 250 lids with a little plastic tie. And then around the 50 cases, you have shrink wrap, like you said, Liz.
Yeah.
So you have to know what each component is and how much it weighs. And so that's the level of complexity that if you don't already capture that today, you should start. And luckily for Georgia-Pacific, we have a lot of that information. But with how fast EPR laws are moving, we're trying to figure out a more efficient way to pull all of that information. Because not only are we required as a producer to report the volume to the state of Oregon, as an example, where we produce private label, our customers are asking us for the same information. And so that's where having good data practices, organized, following the standards, will help meet those deadlines. And that's where efficiency becomes important, because you have to do this once a year, but then you have however many of your customers also asking you for the same information.
I just had my mom jump into the back of my head again, because when we were little, she had this sign: you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And you have a plan. And this scaling and data management and being able to handle it for direct customers and indirect customers, this private label, it's a lot to keep track of.
It is.
So there's part of the regulation, I think, that if you ship into a state, but then it goes to another state.
Correct.
Right? So
Like you shipped it in, but then they drove it over line.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So foundational
They made a
data-
movie about that called Smokey and the Bandit, but keep going.
That's even earlier than my time.
Sorry.
How do you account for that? Like, foundational data then is so important to have all of those pieces so that you can report almost in different segments. But
Correct.
this is all new. How do you tackle that?
Yeah, so the CAA, which stands for Circular Action Alliance, is the company that is helping facilitate the reporting of this for the states that have passed the law. So they're responsible for doing it for Oregon and Colorado. They have given you basically 2 methods. You can use what they call the apportionment method, which is essentially taking the Oregon population and applying that to your total volume as a percent and saying that is my estimated volume going into the state. or you can use your true transactional data. So for Georgia-Pacific, we used as a foundation our direct shipments going into Oregon, but we know that some of that product is moving out and then actually some product is moving in. And we had to account for both sides of it, which makes it very difficult because we don't track that level of movement today. We just track the direct shipment into the state. So this required us to really engage with our customers and learn from them how we can use their information to help track that movement, as well as just engaging their knowledge of EPR. We want to use this as an opportunity to share, to learn, because I feel like we're all in this together. It is coming at us so fast. And so it does require us to work very closely with our customers and leverage the data that they may have so that we're reporting as accurately as possible.
Yeah.
If somebody were just getting into this space, even if they've been in it, but they're just finding out about it, what would you tell them to do to start the process? I mean, from a GS1 perspective, we have a discussion group or a work group that you can start being a part of, but how do you even start down this road? And it's regulation, so you kind of don't have a choice.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice. I would start with the CAA. I think their website actually gives you a lot of great resources to understand the details of the legislation, what's a covered product, some of the reporting requirements for the producer. But then additional to what you said, Liz, is join work groups, learn from your customers, learn from your peers. Like I said, we're all in this together. And so we at Georgia-Pacific has joined the GS1 EPR work group, and we're excited to get that started. We've also coordinated a work group within our organization as well, because it is multiple capabilities that you should really start to engage, starting with legal. You want to make sure you have the right understanding of the law. We have our sustainability team very much engaged, as well as our category and sales teams. And then down the road, obviously, we want to get into innovation. How can we improve our product packaging to maybe reduce the EPR impact from a financial perspective? So, which also ties back to having that data. If you want to understand where is the highest priority to kind of innovate, you have to have the data, understand what's driving that EPR fee for you.
Yeah, you just touched on a lot of things as you were kind of explaining the best way to attack this. And we laughed, go to legal. I feel like we all start with legal. It's always the safest bet. Mm-hmm. But the data that's being shared and collected, it's not single threaded. It's not single use. You have other departments within your company that are using it for some reason or another, or have been, or your partners that you're working with in your ecosystem. They may already have a small bit that you could leverage. You don't have to go and reinvent, a new solution. And you brought up innovation because I'm seeing a lot around sustainability and innovation, both from a litigation side, but an innovation into being more productive. And when I say litigation, I've seen a couple of companies that have had to deal with, well, what's in your packaging?
Right.
Is it carcinogens? Can it hurt somebody? Is it too heavy? Can someone suffocate? Right. Like all these things, you're like, I'm just shipping a box, but you don't think of it. But this is the other angles that everyone's in. And a lot of organizations already have this information. They're just not using it in a different team.
Exactly. And like I mentioned, we had a lot of it already. It's about structuring it in a way that makes it more efficient to support EPR and scalable, but also how can we leverage it for other purposes, like you said? I think the consumer wants to know more. It helps inform them how they should make that buying decision. And I think when you start talking about claims and certifications on products, that goes a long way. And there's a lot more requirements we're seeing just in sustainability to at a high level that it's just a matter of time that you will start to see other use cases for capturing this type of information. This is just forcing us to get there a little bit faster.
Yeah, I always say that we do things for three reasons: make money, save money, or be compliant. Right. And innovation is driven by a lot of different, angles and perspectives. But when someone lays down the law and it's like, this is what we need to do, well, now you got to be compliant to do business there.
Exactly.
I'm going to shift gears.
Okay.
Just little bit here. This is not your first GS1 US Connect, is it?
Correct.
How many have you been to?
I would say this is probably my fifth one, maybe.
Fifth one.
Yeah, if I had to guess.
Yeah, awesome. What keeps bringing you back, and where do you find the most value in attending a conference like Connect?
Honestly, it's networking. It's learning from our peers, our customers, our technology providers, because we want to continue to add value back into our organization. And through gaining knowledge and learning from others, we can do that, right? I also like to share our journey, right? Because I know a lot of others have experienced or are experiencing similar pain points as it relates to master data, data governance. And so I love these type of forums to really share our story and hope someone can learn something and get to, whatever goal they're trying to get to a little bit faster.
Wow, that's great. We really appreciate that. And we call it Connect for a reason, because it is about networking and connecting. But I've experienced the same thing. You can go to these conferences, you can listen to speakers speak, and you can sit in rooms, and sometimes they're fantastic. And sometimes you're like, yeah, I kind of knew that.
Right.
Wasn't that new? But it's the in-between. It's the relationships and the networking and the best practices. And it's all the things you can't get through technology. It's really like we're talking about this morning about tariffs, and are you onshoring? Are you nearshoring? Are you looking at different products? It's all about relationships.
Yeah,
it's
it
like,
really is.
If I have to go start a brand new one, it's going to take me months to get something going. Whereas if I already have a few, I can make a couple quick phone calls.
Exactly. I can't tell you how many times I've referenced a relationship that I've built at GS1 Connect to answer a simple question, or like you said, getting into something new. Where do I start?
Yeah.
And then the work groups that GS1 provides also gives you that forum to kind of further expand that knowledge and build those relationships.
Yeah.
So all of our guests, we ask a question. What is the favorite technology that you're using today, whether it be in your home life or your professional life?
Honestly, my Apple Watch. It keeps me guided to what I need to focus on, which is also my health. It keeps me on time, and it just kind of has everything there at your fingertips. But the minute I want to get rid of technology, I just take it off and walk away from it.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And making me feel old again, but that was like Dick Tracy, and she can take her phone calls from it. Okay, not going there. Okay. The question that I have is, what is one thing this year, by the end of the year, that you want to learn? Something new you want to just take some time and really start to learn?
So not necessarily something brand new. It's brand new, but how to leverage technology in the way of AI, right? There's a lot that can help us from an efficiency standpoint. So we have like Microsoft Copilot.
Yep.
It can do wonders for you in taking notes, scanning your emails and summarizing stuff. And so really trying to be purposeful for learning it and using it.
We were just having that conversation 2 hours ago.
Yeah, we were. We got into the whole thing of going beyond just search, using it as a consultant, leveraging agents, turning it into an operating system, all of that stuff. But you just brought up a couple of great examples, but we have to rediscipline ourselves and open to a different way of doing something. And
it's hard.
It's hard. I've really leaned in. We were talking about some examples, and man, is it life. It's game changing.
It really is. You have to get out of your comfort zone.
You do.
Yes.
You do.
Yes.
You do. Well, Lindsay, thank you so much. This was super informative, and we really appreciate you spending time with us.
Thank you both. Thank you.
Thank you for joining the Next Level Supply Chain with GS1 US. If you enjoyed today's show, you can subscribe to our feed or explore more great episodes wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to share and follow us on social media. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.